Well, good Friday afternoon to you. Welcome to the John Sanchez Show on News Talk 780 KOH. We did it. We made it through another week. Not all that bad of a week, other than the grind of having to be back for 5 days when we were so spoiled from last week, right? But as far as the market, hey, it wasn't all that bad. Eked out some modest gains on 2 out of the 3 major averages, which I'll tell you about in a moment. Hope you had a great Friday and going to have an even better weekend. Let me tell you what I have lined up for you today. I'll be honest with you, as the headlines subside in regards to the oil situation. I mean, we had our fair share of them this week, by all means. The market is kind of got the summer doldrums, it feels like. Just not a lot of activity, not a lot of news stories. I always try to bring you the week on Wall Street on Fridays. But I started to prepare for that this morning. And I'm like, this is kind of light. Really, honestly, not enough to talk about for an entire hour. So I sat back and I said, what can I do to motivate you on a Friday? Right? We're all tired of coming Friday. It's been a long week. It's hot outside. Let's give you a little motivation. So I came up with an idea, and I hope you like it. I'd love to get your feedback. You can send me an email at john@sanchezgaunt.com. And here's what this idea is. I'm creating a Friday series that I'm going to be doing for a number of weeks. And I call it the John Sanchez Playbook. And what I'm going to be doing is every Friday, after I give you my stock market recap, I'm going to share with you playbooks that I've put together for different areas of your life. We'll do a playbook on estate planning. We'll do a playbook on, the fundamentals of the stock market, so on and so forth, right? A whole slew. I've got about 10 different topics that I created this morning. But today I want to give you one that I think is a lot of fun. But I'll be honest with you, I thought, man, I hope some of you don't laugh because there's a lot of you that are millionaires. And the playbook I'm going to discuss today is the Millionaire Playbook. 10 financial decisions that could build lasting wealth for you and your family. And so, I get this question a lot. John, what does it take to become a millionaire? Well, when I started doing this 30 plus years ago, being a millionaire was, man, you were somebody. Nowadays, I hate to say this, it's really not that big of a deal. Kind of like the old adage where you go, yeah, I need $1 million to retire. Well, if you want to live on about 50, 60,000 bucks a year, cool, you need $1 million. If you want to live on more than that, you need a couple million or more than that. So the millionaire status isn't quite what it was, but it is still a great financial achievement when you can say, my net worth is $1 million plus. And if you're in that camp, today's show is really for you. If you're already there, well, hopefully I can give you a few tips to maintain that millionaire plus status. Because I promise you, it's going to be very enlightening. So again, this is going to be a brand new series, the John Sanchez Playbook. So 10 financial decisions that consistently help people build wealth over time. Not picking a hot stock and, throwing everything in there. I'm talking long-term sustainable wealth building strategies that can help you get to that millionaire status, if not more. I want you to have more than that. So it's going to be a really fun topic. And again, somewhat light for a Friday, something to kind of take you into the weekend, give you a little bit motivation. If you're not a millionaire, you can think about these. I invite you, if you want a copy of this, I'm going to try putting these almost into like an ebook format. I haven't been able to quite finish that because again, I just came up with this idea today. But if you're interested, again, you're driving or you're at work or wherever you may be right now, probably can't write all this down. You can always catch it on YouTube. You can always catch it on Spotify. But just send me an email again, john@sanchezgaunt.com, and I'll send you the playbook. I'll be more than happy to share that with you. And I'll start trying to get these done ahead of time now that I, like I said, kind of created this new series. Had before I get to the stock market side, I had a great week on the new estate planning business, specialized trusts and estate plans. Really some incredible people. I had the privilege, and it is a privilege, to work with them in depth this week. And, I shared this with one of the clients, and I'll share it with all of you. I tell you folks, again, I've been doing this 35 plus years, and I have never seen more appreciation from clients than I am seeing when we have finished their estate plan. Whether it's a restatement, meaning they have an existing trust and they need to get it up to date, or a brand new one. But every single client that we have been blessed to either create a new trust, estate plan, or restate it, every single one of them are so absolutely grateful. I don't know who's more grateful, we are or they are. But it is amazing to see the relief in people's eyes, because we do it all over video, to see the relief in people's eyes when it's all said and done. And one couple really stands out this week. They had 3 trusts between the two of them, and it was a lot of work for them. I put them through the ringer. I will tell you, there was a lot of work that we did. Actually, took us a couple sessions, because again, our claim to fame is we can create an entire estate plan for you in less than 2 hours from the comfort of your home. Well, it took about 6 hours, so still right in our goal range of 2 hours per estate plan. But it was a lot. It was a lot. They had a lot of moving parts to it, and like I said, 3 trusts between 2 people, and but it was incredible when it was all said and done. It really was. So I want to thank all of those, and I invite all of you. Again, visit our website. I am not here to sell you anything. I am here to help you. Right? My team and I, we created Specialized Trust to help you. Right? To do things differently. To get those of you that have contemplated. Just got a call from a dear friend today. It's like, man, I promise you, I'm going to get the forms over to you. And it's like, okay, just get them over here. Don't wait, folks. Don't contemplate. Life can happen at any time, anytime. And if you feel you are unsure whether you need a revocable trust and all the documents that go along with it, just again, I've offered this to all of you. Set up a discovery meeting with me. I don't charge you anything, just like on the brokerage side. Jason and I don't charge you anything. We're not one of these firms where we go, hey, you know what? You're going to pay us $500 for 30 minutes of our time. No, this is our time to give back to you. And so we have the same philosophy on the estate planning side. Send me an email, send it over on the estate planning side, john@specializedtrust.com. And that's Jon, john@specializedtrust.com. And just say, you know what? I just need to book a 30-minute discovery meeting, and I will do that with you. We'll have a one-on-one video conference. Again, you all know I work nearly 7 days a week. So if weekends are the best time, hey, you know what? I'll do it. I don't care. I want to help each and every one of you. If you have the existing estate plan, like I mentioned that we did a lot of this week, restating those, same thing. Let's talk about it. We have incredible software for those of you that have the existing trust. We have incredible software that we are able to take your entire estate plan, scan it into 4 large language AI models, and the models will go through your existing trust line by line, word for word, and then create a summary. And that's what we share with the client before we do anything. We don't charge for that either. It's like, here's what's going on with your existing trust. Maybe everything's great. I've yet to see that, because usually they're old and life has changed and successor trustees have changed and so on and so forth. But it'll point it out, and then you can make a decision what you want to do. So for those of you that don't have anything, please reach out to me. Take a look and see what we can do. Visit our website at specializedtrust.com. We have all of our packages on there. Again, our estate plans are very minuscule, $3,649. That's it. We do the filing, meaning the recording of your home into the name of the trust. We file the homestead exemption. We do everything. That's the all-inclusive price. For those of you with more sophisticated estate plans, I'll be the first to tell you if I think that we cannot do it. And we have a nationwide network of attorneys that's what we have them for more, again, sophisticated estate plans. So we can handle anything whatsoever, but it all starts with a discussion. And I care about each and every one of you. And my story of why I created Specialized Trust. And I want to help each and every one of you. My team wants to help each and every one of you. And like I said, it's Friday. It's been a long week, been on the tired side, but also, I'm sure all of you can relate to this. Very fulfilled. When you can come into a Friday and you go, you know what, that was a good week. It was a hard week. It was a lot of hours, a lot of hours this week. I think I put in 70 hours so far this week. But it was well worth it, because it was a blessing to work with all of these great people. And again, to see the satisfaction and to hear it in their voice when it was all said and done, you couldn't pay me enough for that. It was absolutely amazing. And I hope to be able to do the same thing for all of you. So again, just to get the process started, whether you say, I don't know if I need one or not, great. Book the discovery meeting. If you have an existing trust and you're not sure, is it up to date? Is it keep up with all the latest laws and everything? Great. Book a discovery meeting. Again, there is no charge whatsoever. You guys know me, and I'll give you my honest opinion. And so far, like I said, we've yet to have anybody that when they had the existing trust that didn't need some type of modification there. And I want to remind you one more time, for those of you that have young adults in your life, whether they're children or grandchildren, I'm talking, 18 to 25, maybe 30. They're just getting their lives in order. They probably don't need a full living trust, a full estate plan, right? They don't have enough assets to really worry about it at that point. But what they do need, they need a advanced directive, which is the financial powers of attorney. They need the medical directive. They need a simple will. They need emergency contacts. Then they need all that. And especially for those of you that have the kids that are younger, 18, 19, 20, remember mom and dad, remember grandma and grandpa, you can't do anything for those kids if they become incapacitated. Remember, estate planning is not about death. It's really being able to make decisions and take care of your family. And in this case, take care of your parents. Again, if something happens to you. So we put together, we call it the young adult package. It's one of our 8 packages. We have our first responders package that my son oversees. But that young adult package, $425. And you'll get, again, the will, the medical directives, the financial power of return, or the financial power of attorney, everything I just mentioned. The peace of mind that it provides. And again, it's a great birthday present, great Christmas present. If they don't have the money to do it, pay for it for them. One of the best investments, in my opinion, you can ever make. All right, we come back. I'm going to give you the brief market recap. Then we're going to get into our topic, the Millionaire Playbook, 10 financial decisions that build lasting wealth. Let's turn it over to Kristen Snow. She's in the Right Now Traffic Center. Happy Friday, Kristen. What's that? Very good. Okay, just let's have a call. I know. Well, yeah, exactly. But you just book that appointment with me, Jimmy. I'll take care of you. Absolutely. My office is at 9160 Double Diamond Parkway, right across from the DMV. But I'm never there. I work for my ranch in Smith Valley. Oh, no. It's the way I designed the whole thing, Jim. It's all virtual. We do it all over a Zoom meeting. Yep, absolutely. From the comfort of your home. Yep, 2 hours. That's all it takes. 2 hours. Absolutely. And don't worry about the cost. I'll take care of you. You and I go way back. We go back way too far to make money off of each other. So, I love you and appreciate you. So whatever I can do to help you, man. You and me both, brother. Yep, I know. Yeah, I know. That's what Ross has been telling me. I between you and I keep saying that it's just a matter of time. They're gonna, management's gonna walk in one day and say, "Yeah, corporate has said we're going on, automated programming." I really do. Well, that's right. That's why I did it. That's exactly why I did it. Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, it's like, who's going to really be left, right? I mean, Ross is talking about retiring in a year or something like that. And, it's just, no. They're all gone. Yeah. Do you know, besides Ross, I've been there longer than anybody else? You realize that? Yep. Started there 2004. Welcome back to the John Sanchez Show on Newstalk 780 KOH. Happy Friday to all of you. All right, let's get down to the market. And then, like I said, it's going to be real brief. There was not a lot of activity going on today. And then get into our topic, the Millionaire Playbook. And I looked at my notes, by the way, because I couldn't remember all of them. Every Friday, again, I'm going to start this new series, the John Sanchez Playbook. And again, today is going to be the Millionaire Playbook. The other ones I'm going to do the retirement playbook, the home buyers playbook, the estate planning playbook, small business playbook, financial independence playbook. So those are just the ones. If there's something else that, you guys want, send me an email. Let me know. This is your show. It's not mine. And I'd be more than happy to do it. But I think it's going to be fun. It's going to have a lot to really look forward to doing this with you each and every Friday after the market recap. All right, let's get down to the market. Like I said, not a lot of activity today. The president did reiterate this morning that the ceasefire is over. He said yesterday, remember, that Iran said they want to do continuation of the talks. I saw one headline today, and it wasn't from a national source or national news source, so I'm going to say it, but take it with a grain of salt, that Iran called Trump and said the firing of those 3 ships this week was a mistake, and that some factions did it. It really wasn't Iran. So on and so forth. So again, take it for what it's worth. Axios reported late today that the U.S. and Iran are supposed to meet in Switzerland sometime next week to continue discussions. So we will see. But again, the market doesn't care. Market knows it's, something's going to end one way or the other, and it's more focused on the earnings than on the oil side at this point. So here's how we finished. 150 gain on the Dow, 0.29%, closed at 52,637. Nasdaq gained 74 points, 0.29%, closed there of 26,281, and the S&P higher by 32 points, 0.42%, to finish the day at 7,500. 575. For the week, we're up just a smidgen above 1% for the Dow and for the NASDAQ and the S&P, up about 0.5% or so for the Dow. So not a huge week, but hey, we'll take it. It all adds up, right? It's kind of like what you're going to learn on the Millionaire Status. Just a little bit every day. That's all you got to do. On the commodity side, speaking of oil, 69-cent loss, closed at $71.41 a barrel. What a week it has been, right? Gold down $27.20, $4,114.40 an ounce. 3 basis point increase on the 10-year Treasury. Yield closed there, 457. For the week, though, up 8 basis points. So, like I said, other than that, no real major huge movers today. Meta was a star, 5.97% gain, up $37. It was actually the best performing stock in the S&P 500. Company, again, remember yesterday, as I mentioned, the company's AI strategy, basically announced they're going to start making some of their own products, chips, and so on and so forth. So that momentum from yesterday continued on to today. We did have a new hot IPO. It's a company called Skyhynix Incorporated. SKHYV is the symbol. They're a South Korean chip manufacturer, and they debuted instant $1 trillion market cap. Amazing. Stock finished the day up $19.31, 12.96% gain, 168.31. Their CEO said, like we're hearing from a lot of CEOs, demand is strong, got years of orders waiting for us to fill, so on and so forth. Let's see. Moderna, a little pressure today, down 10.83%. There's a name from the COVID era, $8.29 pullback to 68.27. Worst performing stock in the S&P 500. Delta Airlines, man, I tell you what, I don't know if you guys saw this. I got to be honest with you. My Mexican blood boiled. The CEO was on CNBC today. And it started, first of all, before he appeared, the company released their earnings numbers. Better than expected quarterly results. They reaffirmed their full year outlook. But they basically, and I don't have his exact quote, but basically the CEO my takeaway was he was almost bragging that they're not going to be, and I'm paraphrasing, they're not going to be lowering their airfare prices, even though jet fuel prices have come down dramatically. So in other words, he's smiling that he's gouging those of you that use Delta Airlines. He's smiling all the way to the bank at your expense. And it just, like I said, it set me off wrong. I'm like, these airlines, they're the way I look at them, they're like a necessary evil, right? We all have our good stories, all of our bad stories. But what gets me is I can't tell you how many times I have sat behind this microphone over the last 35 years when this industry cries for government bailouts, right? Poor us, poor us. This is the reason we need government help. Government steps in, lends them billions and billions of dollars. Oh, poor companies, they file bankruptcy, then they're back in business a few months later, so on and so forth. But then their prices go up because, of course, the Iranian war. Now that prices are back down again, $71 a barrel, at least on the oil. I don't know what jet fuel is doing. I'm sure it has come down dramatically. They don't adjust the prices. This is where I wish the president would step in and go, you know what? Because we know he's very anti price fixing, right? Why isn't he doing this on the airline side of things? Why hasn't he warned these companies saying, look, we've bailed you out, well before his term, we've bailed you out. Taxpayer dollars have bailed you out. Okay, we let you raise your price. Well, we didn't let you, but you raised your prices when oil was up. Now drop your prices now that oil is down. But he doesn't say anything about it. And that gets me. It's just, again, I hate to cry wolf, but it's like, it's unfair. It really is. I don't travel. I do everything I can not to travel. You all know that. I hate traveling. But I know a lot of you do. And it's vacation season, et cetera. And you're paying these exorbitant prices. And this guy's laughing all the way. The bank said, yeah, our earnings guidance is great because we're not dropping our airfare because even though fuel prices dropped. So anyways, I had to get that off my chest. But Delta today down to $1.50, 87.50 was the closing level, about 1.72 or 1.7% decline there. All right, you're up to date on the market. Like I said, wasn't a lot of activity. Now let's have some fun. Let's talk about the Millionaire Playbook. How can I help you become a millionaire? I'm going to do that when we come back. First, let's turn it over to Mr. Jim Poston. He's got news, traffic, and weather. Hi, Jim. Welcome back to the John Sanchez Show on News Talk 780 KOH. Happy Friday to all of you. My goodness, TGIF finally. 150 gain on the Dow today, up 75 on the NASDAQ, and a 32-point rise on the S&P 500. Oil down about 69 cents to 71.41 a barrel. All right. There's that. Let's get down to something really fun for a Friday. You say you want to become a millionaire, but you have no idea how to start. Well, once again, as I said at the beginning of the show today, I'm starting a new series called the John Sanchez Playbook. This first playbook we're talking about is today, which is very simple. How to become a millionaire. Okay? I've laid out 10 areas, 10 financial decisions, as I'm calling them, that if done consistently should help you build significant wealth over time. It's not rocket science. It really isn't. Every millionaire that I know says one thing. I don't know how I got here. Some of it was skill. A lot of it was luck. Let's see, what else do I hear? Thank you to God for getting me here, so on and so forth. But it's not like a lot of these people had these, like a playbook like I'm going to lay out. So imagine if they did, how much sooner they would have achieved it, right? So let's get started. This whole idea that I came up with this really came from the following. I get asked all the time, John, what is the secret to becoming financially successful? Well, again, as I tell them, after 35 years of doing this, helping families build, helping families protect, helping families transfer wealth, I've learned there is not one specific secret, because it's a dozens and dozens of small decisions that add up over time and produce, in many cases, extraordinary results. Because you got to remember, folks, we live in the greatest country in the world. You can go out and make as much money as you want or as little as you want. No one is stopping you, like in a communist country. We have this great engine called the stock market, where you literally could just buy some quality investments, sit back and don't look at them for the next 20 years. And they're probably going to be substantially higher than where you started, right? Time is on your side if you start early. But again, most millionaires don't become wealthy because they made one brilliant investment decision. Now, we all know the stories of, someone working for a company that has a hot IPO, like, most recent, like the SpaceX employees, Tesla employees, the list goes on and on. Or you have a business and, here comes a buyer out of the blue and they've offered you some stupid sum of money, right? There's those instances there. Or, of course, we're in the middle of the great wealth transfer. Remember, in the next 22 years, $124 trillion, $124 trillion is going to be transferring from my generation, the baby boomers, down to the next generation. Significant. So there's going to be a lot of young people that are going to become millionaires when mom and dad kick the bucket. So that's why estate planning is really important for them. But those that are wealthy, they become wealthy because they repeatedly make good financial decisions. All right, let's go to playbook number 1. They live below their means, right? They spend less than they earn. They monitor their spending. They know where every penny is coming in, where every penny is going out. They don't give a damn about what the Joneses are doing. They focus on their own goals. They would rather have money in the bank than drive some fancy car or live in some fancy house. They avoid lifestyle inflation. They save first, because wealth is not determined by what you make. Wealth is determined by what you keep. And we'll get into, obviously, the tax side, et cetera, in just a moment. All right, pretty basic, that one. Let's get a little more advanced. Playbook number 2. They pay themselves first, right? It's not, oh, geez, I've got $10 left over. I got $100 left over at the end of the month after all the bills are paid. No. They say, I am paying myself before I pay anybody else, before the mortgage, before the car payment, anybody else. I am paying myself first. And they do it on a regular basis through things like their 401k, payroll deduction, of course, their IRAs, their brokerage accounts, emergency funds. They believe in automation, right? That's the key also. Set your investments up on automation, right? 401ks are really simple. You tell your employer how much you want to put in, you sign a few forms, boom, here goes the money. You don't even think about it. That's why people accumulate. Think about it. That's why people accumulate so much wealth in their 401k. Well, it's either their largest or usually second largest asset in comparison to their home, because it was all on autopilot. So why don't you become, or put the rest of your financial life on autopilot? Set up the automatic deduction going out of your checking account to your brokerage account. Set up the automatic deduction going into your emergency funds and into your IRA, right? Nothing is more painful than when I have to tell a client, coming towards the, close to April 15th, and I'm like, oh, how much money can I put in my IRA? And tell them the number, and they got to write a check for that. They just got done writing a check to the IRS for their tax liability. Wouldn't have been easier if they just set it up on a monthly basis. Automate your finances. That's what millionaires do. And they pay themselves first. Playbook number 3. They own appreciating assets. Well, no kidding. No, I'm serious. This is a very serious topic, because a lot of times people will buy assets, but they're not appreciating assets. You go buy a travel trailer. Hey, there's great value in that, right? Family time, time to get away, recharge your batteries. I'm not, by no means am I criticizing that. Same thing with a boat. I mean, let your imagination wander. A car, right? You got to have those. Those are assets, but they are not appreciating assets. So, what does the appreciating asset list look like? Should be stocks and other similar types of investments. Absolutely real estate, businesses, income producing investments, because the wealthy, the millionaires, they buy assets, not liabilities. Number 4, I've emphasized this over and over again. Build multiple income streams. Ask yourself right now, before I go through this list, how many different ways does your money come into your checking account, into your household? How many different ways? I bet the answer for a lot of you is 1, my paycheck. It's dangerous, right? You never know when you can lose that job. So the wealthy, they don't believe in that. They don't put all their eggs in one basket. They build multiple streams of income. Even if they have, quote, 9 to 5 or W-2 wage jobs, a lot of times they'll do things on the side, bring in a little extra money. So they have business ownership, right? One of the greatest ways in this world to build wealth here in the U.S. is to start a business, whether it's full-time, part-time. They also build multiple streams of income from rental properties, from dividends. In other words, they have a portion, if not a complete separate account, investment account, that is nothing but dividend producing investments, high dividend producing stocks or ETFs, bonds, so on and so forth. So they have that income coming in from that source. They consult, right? Especially those that are newly retired. I've gone down this topic many, many times. Consult with your former employer. Nowadays, of course, it is so easy to write a book or do a podcast or something. You can get royalties off of those. Another great source. So let your imagination wander, right? That's just a very small list, but definitely try to create multiple streams of income. And again, ask yourself the question, how many ways am I generating income right now? If the answer is 1, explore that list. Playbook number 5, they control their debt. Now remember, there's good debt and there's bad debt. Good debt, of course, real estate, right? Good debt is any liability that is used to purchase or maintain an appreciating asset. That's why the adage is, real estate's good debt, because it's an appreciating asset. You can say the same thing for a business. There's nothing wrong with going in debt for your business, but it will grow, right? Those are ideas of good debt. Go out and buy a truck. Let's say you have a construction company. There's nothing wrong with going out and going into debt to go buy a new truck if it's going to make you money, right? So that's what you got to think about. Is this good debt or bad debt before you sign on the dotted line? Bad debt, of course, things like credit cards or other liabilities, consumer loans. So remember this before you sign on the dotted line on the next loan. Debt should help build my wealth, not destroy my wealth. Playbook number 6, before I go to break. I want you to, from this point on, it's 3:47 on Friday, July the 10th of 2026. Promise me this. You are no longer going to be thinking short term. You are going to become a long-term investor. Ignore the daily headlines. Ignore the market volatility. Focus on compounding. You want to have some fun this weekend? Find an online calculator and play with some numbers. Say, if I put in this amount and it grows at this rate over these number of years, due to the compounding effect of money, watch and see where it is. Be patient, because remember this, before you decide to panic, and I do my best every time we go through one of these periods, and Lord knows we've been together many years, right? I've been here since 2004 on this show behind this microphone. So we've been together for many years through a lot of different types of market environments. You got to ask yourself this question. If I decide to make a major financial decision like bailing out and because there's some headlines that are scaring you, the news is trying to scare you, ask yourself this question. Where will this decision matter in the next 10 years? Where will it matter in the next 10 years? That's the way you need to help make your decisions. I'll come back with playbook number 7, 8, 9, and 10. Let's wrap it up with Kristen Snow right now, Traffic Center. Hello, Kristen. You glad this week's over, Jim? Yeah, right. Exactly. Hard part's over now. Are you really? Where about you going? Wow. Interesting. No kidding. Oh, so obviously you're driving. Wow. How long will that take you to get there? Boy. How long will it take you to get there? Yeah, you're stopping a lot. Yeah. Oh, okay. That should be beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. So what's the interest in robotics? No kidding. Well, how'd you get involved in that? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Wow, that's interesting. Gee whiz. Isn't that something? Yeah, no kidding. And these are the robots that like fight each other and everything? These are the robots that like fight each other? Okay. 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 Yeah. Right, 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 right. Wow, fascinating. All right, man. Thanks for everything this week. Yep. Have a good one. Welcome back to the John Sanchez Show on News Talk 780 KOH. All right, before I get back to the topic again, the Millionaire Playbook, just a quick reminder, if we can help you in your financial planning needs, portfolio management, tax strategies, etc., give the office a call, 775-800-1801. On the estate planning side of things, whether you have an existing trust, you're thinking about a new one, let's have that 30-minute discovery, no obligation, no cost, no nothing, just you and I sitting down over the video and talking about your life and see what we can do to help you out on that one. Just send me an email, johnjon@specializedtrust.com, and I'll send you the invite and we'll get that booked up for you. All right, it's been a lot of fun. I hope you've enjoyed it. Again, I'm going to start doing this every Friday, the various playbooks. Today, we're talking about the Millionaire Playbook. I got to hustle. I'm almost out of time, so here we go. Number 7, protect what you have built. How do we do that? Well, millionaires protect their wealth because they know life can happen in so many different forms or fashions, whether it's a lawsuit, whether it's an accident, etc. So they have plenty of insurance of all types: life, disability, great health insurance, liability, business liability insurance, etc. They've got plenty of emergency reserves. They take estate planning very serious. They realize in many cases that estate planning is more important than wealth accumulation. Everything they do is about asset protection. They focus on their business. They work on their business, not necessarily in the business every day. So building wealth in the millionaire's mind is really only half the job. Protecting it is equally important, if not more. Number 8, they are constant students. They are always learning. Even the smartest people always are learning. Millionaires read books. They listen to podcasts. They go to seminars. They have mentors. They seek professional advice. Remember, folks, if you need advice on things like this, most millionaires are more than willing to spend time with you and mentor you. That's their way of giving back. Why do you think I do this show every single day? It's my way of giving back. I love teaching and helping people. Playbook number 9, they surround themselves with the right team: the CPA, the financial advisor, the realtor, the attorney, the insurance professional. They know they can't do it alone. They know they need a team. And they also make sure that team works congruently with one another. The worst thing that you want is, your financial advisor is telling you to do one thing, your CPA is telling you to do another, and so on and so forth. You need to act as we like to do that for our clients. We like to be the quarterback, not them. But if you're managing your own money, you got to be the quarterback and bring everybody together. But you got to have a team. You can't build wealth, sustainable wealth, alone. And number 10, millionaires leave a legacy. You're going to find, folks, those of you that are younger, because I'm telling you, it hit me, again, when, I don't know, I can't tell you exactly what age. I'm 62, but I can't tell you what age, but it was just recently, I'd say in the last year or two. It's really important to leave a legacy. At least it is to me. And I think a lot of you are the same way. Leave a legacy for your family, your values, your charitable goals, your estate plan, your story. Because remember this, true wealth is not measured by dollars. It's measured by the impact on the people that you leave behind. God bless. Have a great week, and we'll see you on Monday.
John Sanchez is a registered investment advisor, and the opinions expressed by Sanchez Gaunt Capital Management, LLC on this show are their own and do not